What up? What up? What up? It's the man Sean P coming in live. Oh yeah, this is the Sean P experience, man. Every single show is special. Every single guest, but some things are different. And this brother Kiese Layman, man, I
Hmm.
love talking to this brother. I love hearing him talk books. I watch him a lot over the years, man. And whenever he come on the show, I'm always blessed and honored to have him on the show, man. So thank you very much for coming to our platform, man.
Oh, Sean P, I'm happy to be back, fam. Thank you for having me, and thank you for doing what you do for us. For real.
Man, hey, I try, man. Let me do your professional introduction, right?
Oh, you ain't gotta do all that now.
We gotta do it right over here, man. We gotta do it right, right?
Okay.
So today I have Kiese Layman is a black Southern writer from Jackson, Mississippi. Stand up. He is the Libby Sherman Moody Professor of English and Creative Writing at Rice University. He is also the author of Long Division, which won a 2022 NAACP Image Award for fiction. The essay collection, How to Slowly Kill Yourself and Others in America, by the New York Times Critic, is a notable book of 2021. His best-selling memoir, Heavy, won the Andrew Carnegie Medal for Excellence in Nonfiction. He is also the founder and director at Rice University MFA program in creative writing, where he continues to mentor, challenge, and expand the next generation of serious literary minds. He writes with the grit of the South, the rhythm of hip hop, and the precision of a truth teller who isn't afraid to revise himself to someone freer. PSA.
That's beautiful, fam. I'm on my knees saying thank you. Thank you, bro. It feels different when it comes for your people, dog. You know, always.
Yeah. So I want to start off with flowers. I give you props, man. I was thinking to myself last night. I'm 44 years old in December. If I had known of Kiese when I was in junior high and high school, like how different my whole path would have been, how different my trajectory would have been as a young black boy in Louisiana growing up. I didn't know any writers,
Wow.
like white or black. I didn't know any writers. I didn't know anybody that did what you do and make it look the way you do it. Like it's not too stuffy and it's not all buttoned up. I can still love hip hop. I can still love sports and playing ball and talk about James Baldwin. Like I can do all of those things, not just pick one. I didn't realize that till like late 20s when that light bulb finally came on, right? So I wish I would have had a Kiese when I
Can I
was
just say
a kid.
something to you? But you know
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
fam? I accept. I'm working on accepting, like receiving shit. Is that's not one of the things I'm strong at. But I'm working on that. But I'm not even saying this to deflect. But I think about how had I known you when we were both in high school, and let's say we somehow had a love of the book that like even like a smidgen of what we have now. I just think about like how different and how better the art would have been. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you saying that about me. But I think conversely, is like if we would have rocked with each other early on, back growing up, ain't no telling. But we here now, building.
Yeah. And you know what? The brother Reggie Reeves from Books of Pop Culture, Reggie Reeves and the Kelly, Reggie made me realize a long time ago, I would always say I was a late bloomer to books, right? He
Right.
said, Sean, don't short-sight it because you was reading the Slam magazine, you was reading The Source, you was reading Double XL, you was reading, all these hip-hop journalists. That's still, you was reading all the time. It just wasn't novels, but you was
Man,
always reading
that's
scholarship.
that's Slam man. Listen, I don't know if these young cats realize how motherfuckers used to go to the store to get Slam, to get the source, to get XXL. You know what I mean? To get vibe,
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
rap,
right. Yep.
right?
Yep.
Like so, like
Right.
I
Right.
think that's it's important that we remember we were always writing, even if
Yeah.
it was even if it wasn't formal with a capital F. We always been out there seeking the word, reading and writing, bro.
That's right. That's right. And bro, my bedroom and growing up in high school, you could not see 1 inch of the wall, bro. It was all just Slam magazine covers and posters, Iverson, Kobe, the whole wall. It was all just Slam magazine, bro.
I'm a little older than you, so my whole wall was my 11th grade, 12th grade. My whole wall was Chris Jackson. My mood. Like the whole wall was my
Bro,
mood.
bro, Kiese, I've been about 3 years trying to get him on the podcast, bro. I've been in his DMs for years trying to get him on the pod.
He won't hit you back.
He hit me back, but the timing always just, you know
Oh,
what
okay.
I'm saying?
Yo,
You got,
man.
you
When
got,
I
you
tell
got, you got to connect. Tell me you got to connect. You got to connect.
I got we can I got a little connect. I got a
Okay.
little connect.
Okay. Yeah. Tell him how that's your boy, man.
Whenever I'm on the coast, bro, I'm always just like, two light-skinned phenom changed my life. One of them was named at the time Chris Jackson,
Chris Jackson.
and one of them was named Jesmyn Ward. Like,
Yes.
changed my
Yes.
life, bro. And they were the only black people I knew from the coast. You know what I'm saying? Because we never went to the coast, you know, in Jackson. But
yeah. Okay. So my first question for you is about the craft of doing this, right? I watched so many years of you moderating book talks and book discussions and things like that. Oddly enough, when I'm preparing for Dr. Monty Perry interviews, I watch y'all talk to each other.
Oh.
And when I'm preparing for your interviews, I'm watching y'all talk to each other. So my question is, what do you think makes a great question? What do you think, as far as the craft of this thing that we're doing, what makes a great question?
Man, it's gonna sound cliche, but at this point, I think, you know, the preparedness, the research is part of it. But I think the part we don't talk about enough is the timing. You know what I mean? Like the timing of the question, when it comes in, how the timing of how it's asked. And, you know, like you want informed, sincere questions. I do. But I know this shit is hard. Like, you know, I don't ever judge people, bro, for coming how they come in these interviews. Cause I feel thankful anybody ever want to talk to you. But the timing of it, it's the timing. It's like I've been watching a lot of boxing, just thinking a lot about it. And man, Bud was talking about the other day, they were talking about like how he did it, and they were and he was like, man, yeah, it's all of that, but it's timing. He was like, the thing that I have better than everybody else is time. And he's like, we all work out till we throw up. You know what I'm saying? We all train. We all take care of our body. What's the difference? And he's like, we all prepare, but he's like, it's timing. So I think the same thing about writing. So I think it's timing, bro. I think it's timing.
Man, thanks for that answer, man, because at NOLA Fest 2 years ago, I spent an actual Friday, Saturday, Sunday studying Dr. Monty Perry in person. She was moderating all of these author talks, like round robin every 45 minutes. She don't know Eddie Glaude, she don't know Clinton Smith, she don't know Jesmyn Ward. He had said the whole time, she's not reading off of anything.
Oh.
No iPad, no phone, no. She just sitting there, she just going. It's like Jay-Z would know without writing the bars. I'm like, how you doing?
Like people say this all the time, but like she literally is a phenom. She literally is a phenom.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Do you think?
Yeah. But you know, the thing about it, Dr. Monty Perry is like it's hard to talk about her and not sort of like romanticize her. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that you know what I mean? It's hard to like it for me, and as someone, you know, I know Imani Perry, I love Imani Perry. Like I have expressed to her in person how much she means to me, but I still don't think we understand that we are in the presence of like one of them ones. You know what I'm talking about? Like I'm talking about like the depth of what this person can do with a brain is unrivaled, dog. So what you just described is some shit that would all me if you were talking about a regular person. But like you talking about motherfucking a literal superhero with literal superpowers.
That's Imani Perry. Yes, she is. So today's grand topic I'm gonna talk to you about is conversations with Kiese, man. Fire book cover.
Oh,
Muhammad Ali. I don't know if it's a coincidence you were wearing a shirt that particular day or if it was planned.
Yes, sir.
But my thing is, when it comes to this conversations with Kiese, when you first got the contact about doing this project, the phone call, email, whatever it was, what were your initial thoughts, feelings, emotions when it came with this to be a part of this canon? You know, Toni Morrison conversation, James Baldwin conversation, Jesmyn Ward conversation. Now you join this pantheon. How did you feel?
Man, I felt so special, homie. Like I grew up as a writer on them conversation books, like tearing them apart. I'd be on the stair stepper, tearing that conversation with Morrison. The conversation was right. Conversation with Baldwin was the one that I was like, you know, reread the most times. And so when Constance was like, I think we want to do a conversation book with you, I probably was like, shut the fuck up. I probably, you know, and that's my people. I love Constance to death. But I thought I probably assumed Constance was joking, and then when I realized it was a real deal, I was thankful. But the thing about that series is that the writers don't have anything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't pick the interviews. I mean, can't Constance interview me at the end, but like I didn't know what was gonna be in it until everybody else did. Like I don't get no money from it. That's Constance's thing, but I just felt so honored. And Constance is just brilliant. Like the move she made in that book, I learned a lot from as an artist. So I felt lucky and just special, dog. Super special.
So the follow up is: did you feel I got to be a certain age or I got to be a certain person to even get a chance for a conversation? Because some folks feel like, man, you got to be an older person or even a deceased person to get a conversation.
That's what I'm saying. Like I thought I
You,
would have.
you still mad young to me. You still mad
I
young.
thought I had to be dead, bro. And more importantly, it's like when somebody from home sees it, like because where we from, sometimes it can feel like folks. I've heard people say sometimes from home, like, man, people from New York value me more than people from home. I don't feel that way, but I will say that when Constance reached out to me and as like one of the literary like scholars of our region, it just made me feel like I was doing something right. And again, you got to remember, like I come up basketball, hip hop, meaning when I wanted to be the coldest writer, it wasn't like I want to be the coldest writer in the world. I was like, I want to be one of the best writers to ever come out of Mississippi. Like that's how I thought. I wasn't worried about the world or the nation. I was like, if I got my state, the other shit gonna take care of itself. So it just made me feel like I made some art that people respected from home. And that should make you feel special.
So I know I heard her say in the interview that she worked with you a couple times in the past, talking to her classroom and now doing this. What was it like working with her and collaborating with her and some of the interactions y'all had? She had a lot of reverence for you. What was it
Yeah.
like working with Miss Constance on the editing part of it?
Yeah, it was kind of like just working with like a first, a cousin who you respect. She, there's a new interview in there that we did, and at the time I was doing the interview, my granny was dying and stuff, and so I wasn't present like I needed to be, but I gave as much as I could to it. But Constance understood that. And we rock together. We've been, I've been to Arkansas. I work with her people in Arkansas. I've visited her class a number of times. It just felt right, bro. It just felt so right. And it's crazy that you holding that book up. You know what I mean? It's also crazy to have books out there that you don't have anything to do with. Like, like I didn't have anything to do with that book really, but I just feel so thankful that it is part of that conversation series. And I just feel like in good hands. Constance, I'm in good hands with Constance. You know that. I know that. And that's lucky.
So you are known for being the king of revision. You are known for being the king of like your hands on the project deeply, it seemed like. So having your hands off the wheel, how did that feel for you?
That felt fucked up. Like it felt a little like if part of me just wants to if you even hear what I'm doing now, part of me wants to be like praise the creation of it, the sort of curation of it, but also I just want people to understand like I didn't put out a book of interviews with myself. Do you know what I'm saying? And if I did, the book would never have come out because I would have kept trying to like change stuff up and get it as tight as possible. But I think Constance did it as good as it could be done. I'm super thankful.
So this is the question. So this book is a collection of interviews and things you've done way in the past, like years ago, some of it.
Yeah.
Did you read some of this? Did you read some of it now? Like, wait a minute, did I say that? Or like,
Bruh,
why did I say that? What was that about?
I don't remember like probably 3/4 of those interviews. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if that's because I'm getting old. I don't know if something's going on with my health or if it's just like I do know that when I do interviews, that's one thing I don't reread because it's like if I do reread interviews, all I'm gonna do is look for the part that make me look like a fucking idiot, and I'm gonna just keep rereading that part. So I don't reread interviews or nothing, but I don't even remember some of that stuff. Sometimes you write something and you like come up on it, and sometimes you're like, ugh, or sometimes you're like, damn. It was like that a lot of times. I was like, who said that shit? I was like, oh, me, okay. But a lot of those interviews were done when I was on the road pushing all my books, you know. So I got on the road, started pushing books in 2012, no 2013, and you know, when you just constantly on the road, sometimes while doing interviews, I think sometimes you can just sort of like mix up, you know, when whatever was said, and I just forgot a lot of that stuff, but rereading it made me super thankful that those people asked some good ass questions and gave me time to shine a little bit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I totally enjoyed the book. Anybody watching this interview, man, you go out there and get it for sure, man. It's definitely good. And once again, it made me want to go and read your work again.
Wow.
Even you in hindsight talk about what you wanted to put in the book or what you took out of the book or what you were trying to execute. I want to read those books again with a different perspective now that I read this book. So
I love it, bro. Thank you for that.
my own revision, right?
Yes, indeed. I mean, that readerly revision, the most important ones, I think.
Yeah. So in the book, you mentioned like writing a lot. And so many times we hear authors talk about before they get a deal that you're practicing writing and my writing practice, but like, what does the actual day in the life of you look like whenever you are writing a lot? Like, what does that look like? A day in the life of Kiese. How does that look? You know?
Man, look, I'm in mode right now, bro. I mean, I'm not a nice person to be around. I wake up. I believe like a lot of writers that like that wake up time is when you got to get to the page, because I feel like the screen between your vision and your imagination and like the material world is like the screen is just more porous. So I got to get up. I'm writing. Um, Hopefully like an hour or two in the morning. You know, I got a job, so I got to go to work. But when I'm in zone like I'm in right now, you know, I'm making time. I'm typing a lot of shit on my, you know, texting a lot of shit on my phone on myself, so I can go back home at nighttime and get it right. I got a book due in a few weeks, like final revision. So like that's where I am now. It's like all time that's not spent like family or work is I'm trying to get this book right, you know? And at this point, it's like rewriting not all the sentences, but rewriting the sentences that don't really like, you know, do what I wanted to do the right way, you know? So that's where I'm at.
So hypothetically, how many hours a day you writing? Like, about an hour, it's about 2 hours, talking about
Oh, I mean, generally, I write. You know, I'm still a write every day, do revise on the weekend. But like right now, when I'm in zone, you know, I'm getting up hour, middle of the day, probably two, and then I'm writing to go to bed. So I'm writing about 3 or 4 hours to go to bed if I go to bed. So I'm probably writing right now about 4 or 5 hours a day. But that's because I'm in book mode. You know, like normally I try to get in like an hour, but it's not even directed toward a project. Usually it's just like an hour of just, and I work in different mediums right now. It's just an hour shit sometimes, just playing with stuff, you know, like playing with sound, playing with character, playing on the page to see how I can use the white space. I got to do something like that every day because I'm not a phenom. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, I'm one of these motherfuckers who got to work really, really hard to get it to move, you know, and so that's what I do, dog. Like that's how I make shit, you know, and
I love that.
yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to ask you this. The difference between an autobiography and a memoir, right? Help us understand the difference between a memoir and an autobiography. What does that mean to you?
I could write a memoir about 1 minute in my life, 500 pages about that minute. You know what I mean? About that 1 minute. I could talk about the minute, the way, you know, as it happened. I could talk about the context leading up to the minute. I could speculate about what's going to happen after the minute. But there's no obligation in terms of memoir other than me, you know, writing literally like truth and using power to explore the truth of a minute or whatever time I explore. Autobiography, the expectation is you're going to start from birth and go through, you know, if not death, a person's entire life. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of artistry in autobiography, but the expectation is like a much longer project. You don't have to work with compression as much. I think the artistry is like it has to be less compact because you're talking about a life. You know what I'm saying? So like I think people confuse that. Like I got a lot of friends who like read heavy and they were like, you know, bruh, like where was I? Because I was in that memory. I was like, yo, you were there, but like I'm trying to make art of moments. And so like to make art of moments, sometimes like you might have to write some people out of a scene who were actually there. Or you might have to, you know, write people, you know, like yeah, I remember us being there together, but like if I render that memory, it's gonna throw off the whole book. So autobiography, I might be more prone to be like, yeah, let me stay truthful to what actually happened and the people who were actually there for the like moment of for like the measurement of time being a life. Memoir, you can compress that shit. You can do 3 minutes in a life. And the 3 minutes could be from 10 years old to, once when you were 10, a minute when you were 25, a minute when you were 45. That can be your memoir. Autobiography, the expectation is you're gonna do some linear shit and you're gonna do as much as you can, like granular on the granular detail, what happened. Memoir is a little bit more artful, I think.
So, as a consumer of these projects, how much should we trust the writer in the autobiography? Because we know, like Malcolm X, for an example, in hindsight, a lot of things in that book wasn't necessarily correct or on point as he said it was. So, how much should we trust the writer when we're reading these things?
I mean, how much you trust the writer depends on like the skill of the writer. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and like I know a lot of autobiographies are not written by the person that's name is on the thing, Like I've been hired to ghostwrite a number of actual memoirs and autobiographies. So if the writing makes you trust it, you trust it. If the writing makes you feel like I don't trust it, you don't trust it. But that's the thing. Whether you write in fiction or poetry, though, like part of it is you want readers to believe, You want readers to believe. You want readers to believe. And I think sometimes when readers, you can get a page in and know, I think, whether or not you trust the author behind a project. And so, I mean, I will say, I don't think you should ever trust that it's all quote unquote true. I think
Gotcha.
there's a difference between honest and true. I think great
Mm.
writers make you feel like it's honest, but like a truthful rendition of one's life, I don't know that you're going to get that unless you walked with that person in their life, literally,
Okay. We got a wonderful question from the chat. Another fellow author and creative in the chat, Kiese. Gotta put it up so I can see it. He said, did your writing process change for drafting your most recent picture book? How is it writing for adults versus children? Do you see yourself writing another picture book? Thanks for the chat.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's difficult because City Summer, Country Summer came out 5 years ago as an essay in the New York Times. And then, I had a wonderful editor, Namrata Akokila, who like had a vision for turning it into a kid's book. And, she sent me all of these drafts of like what we could do. The next one I'm doing is like I'm writing from the ground about kids. You know what I'm saying? Like and I want to talk about it right now, but I don't want to give the shit away so much. But I'm hyped because like it is being written. It's being like sort of like composed with young readers in mind. When I wrote the essay that turned into City Summer, Country Summer, I was writing that with kids in mind, but I was thinking I'm writing this for adults, about kids. And then we start trying to change it to make it like fit, like direct to kids. But this next joint I'm doing is composed especially for young Black kids.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to ask you this question, man. Kind of a more heavier question. In the book Pros to the People, you were part of that project as well, Pros to the People, right? But the Black bookstores around the country.
Oh yeah,
One,
yeah.
one of the last essays in that book, I had to go over it so many times, and the brother was saying pretty much how like these publishing companies and these bookstores, they capitalize on our pain, bro.
You're right.
Like whenever somebody like unfortunately Asada Shakur just passed a month ago, rest in peace. I'm more than sure her book just shot up in the sales across the country.
Right.
Asada merch, you name it. So talk
Right.
about like the part of writing. Well, you know for a fact, whenever there's a tragedy, the Washington Post, New York Times, whoever, they're trying to contact y'all to speak on this thing
Right.
for their publication. The dichotomy of that as a Black writer, talk about that.
It's tough, man. That's a brilliant question because you don't want to pimp pain, but this culture also wants you to act as if Black death and Black premature death is incidental. You know what I mean? It also wants you to not honor Black life or death. So when these people reach out to us to like, eulogize or ask for our point of view or ask for an essay about like a Black figure who meant the world to us who's died. I just think we have to hold two things at once, which is like, okay, this is an opportunity to give honor to someone who meant the most to us. But we also got to know that there is like a death economy in this country because the country doesn't really believe in death. So, like you can fetishize death in a particular way. But the flip side is that the culture doesn't, because the culture doesn't necessarily believe in death or honor death. Like those of us who actually like, and I think Black folk in our music, I think soul music, I think hip hop music, I think gospel music is all about life. Yes. But it also is the acknowledgement that death is right there. So what we going to do? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like they pimping, they fetishizing, but at the same time, we have to make sure we don't. Do you know what I mean? Like, and for me, sometimes that means when people die close, man, like there's so many MCs that have died in this last year. And, I wrote little eulogies to, as many of them that really meant the most to me. But I made the concerted like commitment to myself to not try to publish any of them because I needed to sit. Just like this book I've been writing, like a lot of shit happened to me in the last 4 years. It has happened to a lot of people on earth. And like, I didn't want to put a lot of that shit out at the time. I wanted to keep writing because like once you put it out, for me, it becomes like a public prayer. And like sometimes I want my prayers to be private. You know what I'm saying? So you just I think it's on the writer. But, the thing about it is a lot of people don't have money. So, New York Times come hit you and they like, yo, we want to hear you. Can you write about Sean P? And, shit, even if I don't have nothing to say, if I would need that New York Times byline, which ultimately is going to like cascade into more money and opportunity, I might have to do it. So, I don't hold it against people who have to do it. It's hard to eat in this country, in this world. But I just think we can do it with like technique and Black style as opposed to doing it out of a desire simply to be read. That's right. Yeah.
I saw an interview you did with Dr. Imani Perry like 5 years ago around the George Floyd situation. And Dr. Imani Perry was talking about the same kind of a topic. They read our slave narrative as pornography. You know what I'm saying? They use our slave stories for porn, bro. Like, when you said that, I was like, man, that's crazy, man.
That's real. And, like when after Heavy came out and like different people were trying to buy it and some directors were trying to get with it, I mean, like, again, I'm trying to render our experience with as much particularity as possible. So, I write about getting whooped in that book. And like this one director who's really famous was just like zeroing in like on the beating. You know what I'm saying? Like zeroing in on the beating. And on one hand, I'm like, man, I thank you for seeing a part of the book that most people rush through. But on the other hand, bro, this not finna be Roots. You know what I'm saying? This ain't finna be 12 Years a Slave. You know what I mean? Like there's certain shit that I can't put my name on. And like, having a Black boy with his back naked and his mama beating the shit out of him, like, and having a camera linger on that shit for like 12 seconds, I can't really be a part of that, so.
They want that, what do you call that, trauma porn, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some people definitely do want that, I mean, and some parts of us want that, but but like this is what I'm saying, like, and I have friends who like are who are sex workers who would often say the way people like deploy that word porn is disrespectful to me as someone who's trying to make like quality porn. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say yay or nay, but I'm saying yes, I think they want the worst of what trauma porn is. But I think the thing about this culture is that like the whole culture is like the worst kind of pornography. You know what I mean? The whole culture is literally like the worst kind of pornography. So,
yes, sir.
Whether there's sex or violence involved or not, it's image after image after image, or 10-second clip after 10-second clip after 10-second clip. And what is the worst of pornography other than like the segmentation of like the human? That's like the worst of us is just segment. So I push back against that. Like, I don't want to segment my body or the bodies of our people for any sort of check. But the problem is the culture loves it. Like, the nation loves it, So what you gonna do?
A slight pivot on the conversation, a little small step to the side. My friends in the chat right now, we were talking about this before I came on the air. In our communities, being either covert in your operations, how you moving, what you're doing, what you're saying, or being very, very like boisterous and loud about what you're doing. And Dr. Imani Perry said in the same interview, like whenever you're writing, we can't tell everything.
Right.
We're trying to get free. We can't
Right.
put everything in the book. We can't tell all our stuff. We're still
Right.
trying to get free. So
Right.
what's the importance of being covert at times? What's the importance of that in our community?
I mean, the importance of it is survival, like historically, and now. But I mean, I was about to start my newest book with an epigraph from Imani Perry, with that Imani Perry quote. And the thing about that shit is so hard is that, yeah, you can't tell everything when you're trying to get free. But see, when I write, I'm trying to get free and I'm trying to get you free. And so, like, on the other hand, it's like, don't you deserve everything I have as an author if I'm trying to get both of us free? Because like I think I deserve everything you can offer me because I believe you want both of us free. Now, the problem is that, again, the problem of like intergenerational poverty, like transatlantic slavery, the problem of premature death is that, yeah, like I'm giving my heart, my artful heart to you. But before you can get that shit, it has to go through some people who don't give a fuck about our hearts or hands, you know? So give me one sec.
Do you think? Do you think? I appreciate all the comments in the chat. I appreciate all the questions. Keep on bringing them in. I'm gonna try to address many as I can. As we going on with it, we at the 30-minute mark. On the backside of it, I'm gonna try to address everyone possible. But please keep on chiming in. I thank y'all. Love y'all. I'm enjoying the conversation. Rocking. Let's keep it going.
Thank you. Bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The next comment from the chat was, how do we take control of our work and keep the integrity? Take control of our work and keep the integrity was the question.
I mean, that is the goal, right? And that's just what I think you see someone like Roxanne Gay doing like today. I think historically you saw a lot of people in the Black Arts movement doing it. I'm sorry, I got family here, bro. My
Yeah,
fault.
it's all good. It's all good.
So, I think that's the hardest part, dog, because I know writers who won everything you can win, who at the end of the day sort of still don't have complete control over, the last version of their book that gets seen. And historically, when we were really trying to work to get these black presses, not just imprints, the idea was like we can get our own presses and then we can control how we put the shit out, how the shit is consumed. But what we've seen historically also is it's just really hard to create and sustain black press, and I think we need that. And I love the imprints and people who are doing the imprints.
Yes.
And it's hard. It's hard when like just on just the means of production, just getting books like printed. The paper is just
Yes.
hard.
Yes.
It's real
Yes.
hard.
Yes. Right. The next question was, as a writer, why do you think the masses are infatuated with reading about our pain instead of our joy? Man, we did a whole podcast episode about this a few months ago. Whenever the Tyler Perry movie came out with Taraji P. Henson, what the name of that movie was? Oh, it was called Straw. It was called Straw.
Right. Right.
And of course, it's exaggerated. It's like the worst day in human possibility that she's going through. But
Yeah.
like people eat that movie up. Like it's number one, like all the ratings, like people clearly love that. I think about the Jay-Z line, talk about the ignorant shit. Like we love seeing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
And,
love that. You
and,
know what I'm
and
saying?
but also like we come from a people, like the most incredible comics in this nation, historically since vaudeville were like black comics. You know what I'm saying? So, and black comics, I would argue, are an example of what you can do with pain. Whether you look at Monique, or whether you look at Richard Pryor, you look at Moms Mabley, whether you look at even parts of old Eddie Murphy, definitely parts of Chappelle, Wanda Sykes. So I don't think it's like, I don't think the problem is that we deal too much with pain. I think part of the problem is that like sometimes we don't artfully metabolize that pain as artists in ways that feel new and novel to our people. And our people are interesting because they want to eat up the shit. But as a black person, we always looking behind us to see if it's a white motherfucker watching some shit we like. You know what I mean? Like, are they looked at, and sometimes, like, I've seen it in my life, I've seen it with my black students. Like, my black students will be nodding their head, and they'll see that there's a white student nodding their head too, and they'll be like, "What you nodding your head about?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's a good question." But at the same time, we want to make sure that we appreciate why we nod in our head. You know what I mean? As opposed to like being so stuck on like why they might be nodding their head. Like, we can do both, but I just think that takes a little bit more, a little bit more energy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to flip it a little bit. Let's flip it. You're a sports guy, long time, lifelong sports guy. I'm a sports guy. We see all the things for the past 2 weeks going on with sports betting, all the NBA guys going down, and the amount of sports where you come to find out they have rigged games.
Yeah.
UFC fighting, last night, baseball, uh, college sports, even like we're seeing the whole thing just crumble. What's your opinion on that before I go to my next
Come
follow up
on, man.
question?
I mean, my opinion on that is very like it's not even complicated. I just have a lot of opinion. But so the short version is you cannot make gambling completely legal and these parlays completely legal. And let's say you play professional basketball. I'm your boy. I know if you hurt. I'm your boy. If I see you hurt and you telling me I can gamble, and I got a friend who knows I'm your boy, who he my boy too. I'm gonna tell my boy, my nigga who's like playing for the Hornets or whomever or the Bobcats, whatever the fuck. Like, yeah, he hurt. So bet the under tonight. That's happening everywhere. You think these college students aren't talking to other college students in their class about what the under or the over is? I mean, bro, like Rice doesn't even have a good football team. You can bet on Rice football. You can bet on Rice volleyball. So again, the system has decided it wants to take all that it can get from greed, expansion, which is what gambling is. But then it wants to police, historically, the way the nation does, the black and brown bodies that fucking partake in it in ways that they deem like wrong or transgressive. The fucking entire shit is fucked up. Like, you can't have this much betting and this lack of like policing of the betting, and then strategically just be like, oh, now we're gonna pick Damon Jones, now we're gonna pick Chauncey Billups, now we're gonna pick. Come on, dog. Meanwhile, Trump can do insider betting in front of the world,
Come on, man.
and nobody say nothing, and
Come
nobody
on,
say
bro.
to the prison or jail. I'm never gonna go hard, and I've written about gambling. It is the death of the human soul, of friendships, of love, of meaningful sex. I think gambling is the death of all things wonderful.
Wow.
But
Wow.
the system is way worse than gambling. You know what I'm saying? And the system being like the nation, the fucking laws that create, the Congress, like the people who put this forth. And sports in general today is the I mean, it's funded by gambling. So like, let's just talk honestly. Like, if it's gonna
Yeah.
fund all the podcasts, if it's gonna
Yeah.
fund all of ESPN, it's
Yeah.
gonna fund all the motherfuckers playing the sports, and everybody who knows them can bet people are quote unquote cheating. So then you got to tell me why you're strategically handpicking people, and why those motherfuckers you strategically handpick all black.
Yeah. That's my next question. Next
Yeah,
question. We know these billionaire owners betting. We know all these GMs are betting. We know all these other people are betting, but you focus on these black players.
right,
Now,
right.
you've been around for a long time. Even before the NIL deals, why was black guys the only face of they taking money under the table, or so and so took money and this person took money? You think Tim Tebow didn't get money? You
Come
think
on,
Colt McCoy didn't get money? And Peyton Manning didn't get money?
right.
Eli Manning didn't get. The boys got money, man.
They got money
The boys got money, bro.
under the table. The coaches got money under the table. ADs got money under the table. The legislators got money under the table. So now they're like, all right, so now it's no more under the table. But then you make this weird fucking system where everybody can quote unquote cheat. And then the cheaters get to decide who they deem cheaters. And those cheaters all happen to be black men. It is what it is. You don't even need analysis, dog. Like, just describe that shit. That's America.
Seriously. They said they had 30 plus people involved in this whole NBA thing. And you had the five families, which I haven't even heard the phrase five families in years.
Right,
Man. But you're not seeing any of these guys.
my
You're
dude.
seeing a couple NBA guys. Come
They
on,
didn't,
man.
they didn't even name the names of the mafioso dudes. And no disrespect to Damon Jones, but we know Damon Jones was never a even a good NBA player, right? Like that's not. I mean, he'd be the best player who ever came out of my high school. If I knew, I'm not dissing Damon Jones, but why is Cash Patel strange looking ass getting on TV naming these people? Because it is America, right? Chauncey Billups means something to the people who want, Damon Jones means something to the people who want like more black particular stuff. But what we all know is the same shit that happens with the drug game. You can throw these black motherfuckers in prison and jail for this shit and continually keep on doing what you're doing, but then you can look as if you're doing something right because you're throwing black people in jail. That's America. And now they're just using gambling to do it on a different scale.
On New Jack City, Wesley Snipes said it's bigger than Nino Brown.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So my last sport question: does it change how you view sports, how you watch sports? Do you even currently watch sports? I know for me, even before this, I kind of like decreased my enjoyment of sports for various reasons. But like this whole thing being revealed, how long they've been rigging games and all that is like it's like WWF wrestling, bro. Where it's like, all right,
It
man,
is.
you know,
That's true.
Undertaker's not real. The Rock's not real. You know what I mean?
I find myself not watching it. I mean, I'm obsessed. So like when I say I don't watch as much, I still watch way too much. But I'm definitely not as into the wins and losses as I was. You know what I'm saying? Like
No.
I sort of watch for the performance
Yeah.
as opposed to like my team. You know what I'm saying? Like how are the
Yeah.
Grizzlies doing? Or I'm sort of me and LeBron broke up. So, but I'm still like how the Lakers doing. You know what I mean? Like I'm still sort of just watching now to just see how those incredible athletic performers perform, which is different than I used to watch because I used to be like really into who gonna win or lose.
Yes.
Yeah,
'Cause look how the conversation changed about sport betting, right? The barbershop or even at work or at a gas station. I rarely hear a guy talk passionately about this certain player last night. It's
right.
only about, man, I had a parlay and I just missed it by 2 field goals, or I had
Yeah.
a parlay, the guy missed one rebound. I could have
Yeah.
had 1,300. I hear those conversations way more than literal, like the essence of the game conversations.
Well, and that's the thing, man. I used to be into that gambling strong, but I never gambled on sports, thank God, because I feel like if I started gambling on sports, I don't know how I would ever stop. And it's probably wrong, but I still felt like sports, not the big business of it, but sports. I just felt like in some way it was. This is a tough word. Like it always struck me as like something pure, meaning like at my heart I could just see like
Yeah,
these were young people compete, like trying to be the best in the world at something and
yeah,
compete against other people who are the best in the world. And it's one of the few things in the world you can be like, those motherfuckers are the best in the world, right? Like
yeah,
like and
yeah,
and and so like I like that. I like seeing the best in the world
yeah.
compete. Like one of the reasons I love hip hop so much. But
But here's the thing. We even always said a Friday night in the most racist town, Friday night is the only time the whole town come together. Like we thought that sports was so pure. I don't care who you are, it's only about effort, determination, skill, and will. And now we see that it's not.
it's not. And you could argue that it hasn't ever been, but bro, like at some point, you kind of people have to just say no. Like this is what I've been on my. I don't know again because I'm getting older, but like at some point you got to be like, nah, I don't want the gambling money. You know what I'm saying? At some point you got to be like, nah, I don't want the oil money. At some point, like the persistent need to continually hoard and accumulate, and I get it. I get why particular people in this country who have been like, foreclosed from doing that shit. Why it's something we want to do. I get why Jay, like, made a lifestyle of like talking about accumulation. I do get it. But the problem is,
Yeah.
as you get older, it people think it frees you. It unfrees you. Like if you constantly grinding to get, that means you're also constantly grinding to spend, and which means that you can't be radical or honest or true because you got to fucking like pay for this goddamn fountain and shit that's like $30,000 that your ass did.
Exactly.
So like,
Exactly.
be like, I don't want to be that person who like black folks stop spending. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we need to be conscious of the
Yeah.
way they want us to, never like resist, never like they want us to persistently be fucking like trying to get. Because if you're always trying to get, you're not organizing and you're not seeing the shit in front of you. You know?
And you think how gamble is a sickness, right? To show you how much of a sickness it is, you're hearing these multi-million-dollar athletes, and the payoff for throwing the game was like $3 grand, $5 grand. Like, bro, so a multi-millionaire, $3 grand is like that's like one night going out. That's like a section. Like $3 grand, you gonna throw a game and lose your career for $3 grand.
Right.
That's crazy, bro.
And the thing about it is like, anybody who's been around gambling, people like real gambling addicts, it's like, yeah, so Chauncey or Damon or somebody losing it all for $3 grand, and people like, man, but they made over 100 million. But the thing is, every gambling addict in the world has tried to hit a lick for like $200, which ain't shit to like a month, like, or $20. And so you can't even be like, man, why are you trying to get that $20 through gambling when you got like 50,000? Because I like to fucking gamble, dog. Because America did a number on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of that simple. And I just think my whole shit is like, I just don't think you punish people disproportionately, ever. And I think in this situation we see that happening.
Okay, let's go to my next favorite topic is hip hop, right? Next favorite topic is hip hop. We just had the verses, Cash Money versus No Limit. My question is, you a Southern guy, I'm a Southern guy. You a little bit older. Before it even happened, who did you have going into it? The question. Who did you have
Cash
going
Money.
into it? Cash Money?
Cash Money.
You said it like easy. You said it like it's nothing. You said it like a no-brainer.
Well, because I thought that their team would be tighter. After watching like the Locks and Cam and then was it the Locks and the Dipset.
Yes, sir.
You just saw that like the team that was most cohesive, the team that like came in as a team as opposed to like individuals, that's who was gonna win. And I thought Mia X, even before I asked people, I was like, Mia X is the motherfucking X factor.
Yes.
Now, if Wayne would have showed up, it would have been a little bit different. But
the big X factor, yeah, Wayne.
But the fact that Wayne didn't show up speaks to the lack of like they do bad business over there. You know what I'm saying? Like no disrespect over there. It's just like and P did bad business, but I just think that there's a belief in the no limit like tank much more than there is like in the like in the cash. And them no limit motherfuckers had something to prove because they was coming in as underdogs.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So back in the mid late 90s, early 2000s, at the prime of that, the height of that, what were you playing the most? Because No Limit was like every week. See, I was in high school, No Limit every week.
Bruh, I just moved up to Ohio. I had just moved up to Ohio. I got kicked out of college at Millsap on Jackson State, and then I went up to school in Ohio. When I tell you, and this is the era when like my boy took me as soon as we hit Cleveland, and I saw St. Clair, East 99. Like this was the era where I was like, I came up north to see where Bone and them at. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like that's that era. So I knew Bone and them had the Midwest on lock. Bruh, when I tell you No Limit had the Midwest on lock, like, and I couldn't even understand it. I couldn't understand why the motherfuckers in Oberlin and Cleveland and Lorain and Elyria were like bumping No Limit. But then, and I was from the South, so I thought I was gonna have to come in there and try to be like, what actually happened was like I ended up liking No Limit more when I went up north than when I liked them back. Because back home I was on some like, man, I like Beats by the Pound, I like the sound, but them niggas ain't really rapping. And when I got up there, the guy was like, I'm doing it all. I'm trying to be a No Limit soldier, So
yes, nigga. Playing high school basketball. I'll tell you my scariest memory of high school basketball. Going to a gym in Louisiana in a hostile environment. And for the team run out, the layup line song, they playing your body. All them boys slugged up, gold teeth, black hoodies on. Like, I'm on the other side of the court. Look at that dude. Like, we already lost.
Oh.
We already lost.
And shout out to Bleed, because that's still my shit. That's my favorite No Limit song. Is who that said they want to do that? Run up
Yeah.
into
Get your
ass.
ass whipped, blue black, my nigga, my girl.
Her jelly,
That
jelly.
that preserved. My boss, my word. Yeah.
Woo,
I
man, like
nigga
that
would say what?
motherfucking
For
song,
the
bro. I feel
yeah,
like I can do anything when that shit
yeah,
comes.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So with that being said, for the first time in years, there's no hip hop in the top 40 charts, Billboard, top 100 Billboard. This is my question for you. Coincidentally, right now, we're seeing one of the all-time low times in literacy across the nation.
right.
Literacy, reading scores, all of that. Is there a correlation in this thing? Because at the height of hip hop, most of our lyricists were
Yeah,
they were wordsmiths. They took pride in
right.
their bars. They took pride in their craftsmanship and the skill
Yeah,
set, double entendre, triple entendre,
yeah.
metaphor. They was like, so do you think that's the impact on what hip hop is now? Is the question.
It's tough, bro, because definitely hip hop literacy, I think, took a hit as literacy, generally is taking a hit. And we try to blame the kids, but like it'd be like parents on their phone texting other people about how these kids don't read. Like, motherfucker, like, because we don't read as much either. But at the same time, man, like there's a lot of ways to think of it. Part of me is happy that right now there's no songs in the top 40 because, anything that can get MCs back to actually valuing the rhyme. Now, the fact that they're not in the top 40 doesn't mean that people are going to get back to valuing the rhyme. But I also think some of that has to do with like what Kendrick did, which was monumental. Like the fact that Drake hasn't released anything of substance, lately. He was always releasing songs like every few months. Um, and it's weird, like Young Boy is like the hottest dude in music, but somehow motherfuckers aren't buying the albums like at a rate that will put him in the top 40, which is also confusing. But yeah, man, like I'm not one of them old heads who shit on the young people. Like I love that they love something. I just wish that they could love that something and like the importance of flipping a line or the importance of like a conceptual song. I wish that
So,
all MCs wanted to be the best MCs, not just wanted to be the best makers of money. I do wish that, but I understand why.
so is it about like studying the craft? Like even this back to
Yeah,
sports, right? Back to sports. A lot of guys that play sports currently, they don't even watch the games, Kiese.
they're right,
I talk to these guys. Who your
right,
favorite player is? I like LeBron. What's the last actual game you watch of LeBron? Oh, they
right,
don't. They see
right.
a little 30-second TikTok. They see a little minute reel or whatever. They're not like we did. Watch a whole two
Yeah,
hour game and watch a double header
yeah,
and study the game, studying film. They're not doing that. But even in hip hop, it's like they're not really studying. They're not studying the game of hip hop. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
They're not, and I want to be careful because I want to respect whatever it is they are studying because they got to be studying something. But I just also want this to be like,
You think?
I mean, something, bro.
You think?
I mean, I think to imitate, like what you hear is a lot of imitation. Like I think even to imitate, you like there's some sort of studying that has to happen. Even if you imitating Big X Plug or whatever the fuck, like you got to listen to it. I just what gets me is that like they just don't want to be the best at the craft. They want to be the best at getting money from the craft. And I kind of sort of in a way think Jay ushered a little bit of that in. And people forget that when he ushered it in, he was also seen as one of the best MCs in the world. You know, so I don't know. I just often think that like when we talk about any failures of this younger generation, we got to make sure we hold ourselves a little accountable.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
definitely on us. Definitely on us, right? Um, so I love asking the questions to close out. You're known for the revising process, reading multiple times, all these things. I love to ask the question, Kiese, how do you read?
Oh
How
my
do
God.
you read? Now, fiction versus nonfiction. Let's do it like that with you.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. All novels, I read the last chapter first.
What? This is the
Yeah,
first, or the Soul of Peace, the last chapter first.
all novels, bro. Like, cause
Why?
I just want to see. I'm just obsessed with like how people end novels, and so like every
Kiese,
novel, I know. I mean,
You couldn't wait for 200 pages, man.
I start there, and then I'm like, let me see how they, and then I start back. I go and see how they get there, but I'm starting creative nonfiction or nonfiction. I'm reading that shit linearly. And I have to blurb a lot of books. I try to read the books I blurb like twice. Often I do once and then maybe do like a skim after that just to kind of make sure that I get something because you want to say something original if you like the book. But yeah, man, I'm reading a lot. Most of the books that I'm reading right now still are books that I blurb. But I teach, so and I have to reread a lot of the books I teach. But yeah, reading is the thing. You asked about the writing process. The reading process when I'm in book mode is kind of like even more intense.
So whenever you're reading, are you big on like annotation and note taking,
Yeah,
or do you
yeah.
just sit there and just?
Oh man, I'm tearing the book up, bro. Like especially like when I'm on my, when I'm like working out and when I'm in a zone where I'm like getting my workout on. I got a book on an elliptical or on a stepper. And even if I don't, like I got to be tearing shit up. Like I got to have a pen. I got to come back to it or a marker. I'm definitely like someone. I don't really like the books online. I mean, I appreciate when people send me galleys and stuff over email. And actually they have to nowadays because you just get too many books. But I want the shit in my hands so I can tear the pages up. You know, it's like a very physical experience for me. Like when I'm really reading, and it just needs to be that way for me.
So whenever you're on book tour and a person like me come up to you, I got all these tabs and flags and I'm writing all over it. Like as a writer, how do you feel about that? Because some folks they're like, well, I don't want to write in the book, and like it's a pristine piece of china to some people. How do you feel as a writer?
I love it. Ain't nothing precious about that shit, bro. Like ain't nothing precious to me about like I want my book to be torn up. Somebody give me a book and it's torn up. Ain't nothing. It's the best feeling in the world. Best feeling in the world.
So as we close out, man, thanks for your time and your patience. Thanks for coming back to the channel. I love to have returning guests, man. So in closing, what's some of your next projects? What can we look forward to for Kiese? What you got coming up?
Um, I got this essay on Steph Curry coming out in the Believer magazine in a few weeks. I got I just finished the Trevor Noah and them, paid me to write the long division screenplay. So I'm
Wow,
finishing up the revision of that. I'm working on this.
that's a nice flex.
Hey man, I'm just trying to get good at a different thing. I got this show called Intramural about intramural basketball on these college campus that I'm trying to get done in the next 2-3 weeks. But the biggest thing is I got this book, Good God, that's gonna be done soon and it's coming out next year. And it's gonna be different than anything I ever wrote, but it could be the best thing I wrote if I land it right.
I want to ask you one last thing, man. You have a lot of awards and achievements already early in your career. What's like the biggest Mount Rushmore thing you want? Like, man, if I get this, I solidify my career, put the jersey up. Like, what is that for you in respect? Like the pusher?
Nah. I mean, for me, honestly, fam, like I'm gonna sound old or I'm gonna sound like a dickhead, but it's a lot of people who I've been lucky enough to learn from who've been my students who are writers. And I'll just say, like, those people writing books and winning awards and changing the world through their art, like that's the kind of shit that make me want to put up my put my jersey up. You know what I mean? Like if I win another award, cool. But if somebody who like considers me a teacher, you know, wins a Pulitzer, a MBA, a Critics Circle, motherfucking like a Mississippi Arts and Letters, man, like that's when I'm just like I just feel so happy and thankful. So I'm thankful for awards, but they make me feel weird. You know what I mean? Like I take my art seriously. I want that shit to be like I want people to be like, yo, that nigga take his art seriously. But at the same time, ain't nothing like when your students do do that thing, bro. Like there's nothing in the world like seeing your students like out there doing it and getting it. And that's what made me want to just be like, put my jersey up. Yeah.
Okay, man. Thanks for your time. Thanks for the effort and attention. Anybody watching the chat later on, man, look out. More Sean P shows to come. I'm lined up all through December already, man. So stay on the lookout for the next flyer. This is the Sean P Experience.
All right. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, my man.